Welcome to this series of videos related to curriculum development in health professional education. My name is Mohamed Hassan Taha. I'm a medical educationalist aiming at advancing medical education in improving the population health. This video is part of the videos related to curriculum development in health professional education. Today's video will be about problem-based learning, and in problem-based learning we will discuss it. Not the facilitation skills in problem-based learning is beyond the scope of today's discussion in this video, and it will be discussed in the series of videos related to teaching and learning. This session will be basically for case construction and case writing in problem-based learning as part of the curriculum development. So the session outline will include, we'll explain the role of effective case scenario in problem-based learning, discuss the principles in designing effective cases, apply some of the criteria for constructing a BBL case scenario. So let us see the role of the BBL case in problem-based learning environment. So we have a problem, and then we have students study the problem to determine their learning needs. Then they have their own self-study. They collect new information. Then they share this information with their colleague in the second session of the BBL. So the success of any problem-based learning based on the three pillars: the case scenario, the students, and the tutor. So why constructing a good case scenario is very important in problem-based learning. And I'd like you to stop the video here and ask and reflect on these two important questions. Could we adopt case from other university? Yes or no? Could we do like copy pasting or using AI in writing case scenario? To answer this question, it's very important to think about the importance of context in health professional education, because what is good in some country will not be suitable in the other country, and the relevancy is very important. So if we brought already developed case scenarios from existing curricula used in other contexts, students will not see the relevancy, and the relevancy is very important as part of the design of problem-based learning. So what is a problem-based learning case scenario? Relatively no description of the phenomena. This is the case scenario. Events related in some way and require further explanations. And the problem case scenario include phenomena which might be biological, social, or psychological, or all. And here, this phenomena is very important to help the students to activate their prior knowledge, and it's very important to support the learning between session 1 and session 2 in the case scenario. And this case scenario should stimulate and trigger the learning. Today's discussion and in this video will be about the written case scenario, but there are different format of options to use the trigger for problem-based learning. Maybe paper-based, which we'll be discussing, will be the focus of the discussion today, or photographs, clips, articles, or whatever. But today we'll be talking about the case scenario. As we said, three pillars important in problem-based learning: the case scenario, the tutor, and the students. What are the criteria of good case scenario? The good case scenario should be realistic, preferred based on a real case, engaging and able to stimulate integration of different parts of the knowledge, skills, attitude, challenging, but to the student level, set up in the context, stimulating the discussion of the students, open-ended, and student-centered in the origin. Let us talk about choosing the BBL case scenario. If we want to design a very good case scenario, we need to look at it as we are building house, as we see here in the screen. So in order to do this building, we need to have a planning, then construction, then formatting, and finally preparing the case scenario in use. The guiding principles here: learning outcomes. So we need to align the case with the learning outcomes. And this should be guided by what? Guided by the competencies. And we should develop bank for this case scenario so that can be reviewed. We need to decide about the process, how to approve it, and how to apply it, and how to violate it. This is very important thing. There are several types of the case scenarios: explanation problem, discussion problem, strategy problem, study problem, application problem, and multi-level problems. And so, and this will let us think about what are the different type of the problem, and this is related to the different type of the knowledge. For example, explanatory problems, we can use it for the declarative part of the knowledge. Descriptive fact-finding problems for the descriptive part, strategy problem for the procedures knowledge, and dilemma problems for the personal issues, including the ethics and so on. These very important things that need to be considered. And why it's very important to consider a broad variety of problems, not focusing on single type of the problems. Students can be offered explanation problems, study problems, dilemma problem, and fact learning problems, because they can learn in different modalities. And this is actually different type of the problems. They vary in complexity, open, length, and structure according to each phase of the curriculum. And it helps to reflect the normal and abnormal functioning and design at various levels of human functions, maybe for the cells, tissue, organ, human, the entire system and the group of the society. For example, here, topic 3, agents. We can design the problem using this approach of the concept mapping. For example, if we think about problem for elderly or for agings or for elderly group of people, we can think about what are the physiologic change, what are the social consequences, the society, the ethics and laws, and the medication or the medical consequence of this. So this is the way that we should always start with the 3, then we can accordingly develop the case scenario. This is very important. 12 tips for constructing problem-based learning. I brought these tips from this published article, and you can read this article for detail. Start with, in order to write a very good case scenario, you can start with the following. You have to establish the writing team, identifying the objective. Then you have to have a template. Think about integration, adjust cases to the student's learning needs. Start the case with an engaging triggers, and you can think about this 3 for the engaging triggers. Then tip number 7, design image for the case scenario and investigation. This will motivate the students, ensure that a deductive approach is applicable, linking to the existing knowledge, body of the knowledge, the theories, evidence. Ensure that learning objectives are well presented in the case scenario. Think about the students' engagement with the case and construct tutor guide while you develop each case scenario, and review and encourage the feedback process. The characteristic of well-designed case scenario, it should have clear connection with the module outline, build on student prior knowledge, had growing in complexity, stimulate collaborations, and authentic and relevant. This is very important. Also, stimulate self-directed learning, offer motivation to the students, structured and feasible, and fit available time for self-study, which is around between 8 to 12 hours. It's very important to develop the tutor guide with each case scenario. And the tutor guide should include what type of the problem, among the types that we describe, the objective of the course or of the module, the concepts used in problem, what problem addressed, intended learning issues, how can the problem be discussed, and what learning resources are appropriate for the problem. Also, information about how to go through the 7 jumps approach and detail about the 7 jump approach will be available as a part of teaching and learning and instructional method series. Also, the tutor guide should describe each step, what can be expected, some stimulating questions, because the facilitator should not interfere with the students, only by asking questions, and tips for improving the uh, group process. So, the step of writing the case scenario, as seen here in this screen, you have to look at the learning outcomes of the module. Then you have to develop the case scenario. You have to pilot the case scenario with the colleague staff, and then you have to refine the case scenario with the tutor node. Then pilot it again with the students. Take feedback with the students from the students, and then implement it, and then evaluate it at the end. So it's an iterative process. We don't expect from the beginning to write a very good case scenario. You start writing, then piloting with the faculty, then piloting with the students, take feedback and improve the case scenario. Thank you so much for watching this video, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video of this series.